there's no cash value. But why would they send us a statement saying there's a cash value when there is no cash value? Is she just lying, or do you have to send them a...
She's lying.
Yes.
She's trying to get rid of the call. And what you do is, to make it really terse, is send a letter to the president of the company, receipt requested, and send copies to the attorney general in the state in which the insurance company is, and also into the state in which you live, and then send one to the Federal Trade Commission. And I can promise you, you will get the proper answer.
Federal Trade Commission, the state attorney general, and what else?
The state attorney general in the state where the insurance company is.
Yes.
You want to let them know you got a runaround, and you want to know what the value of your policy is, or your annuity in this case, because you're not getting an answer. Let's put it that way. And you send it receipt requested, and I'll tell you something: the Federal Trade Commission will climb all over it, and so will the Attorney General's office, and that'll wake those people up, and that's what these people need.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Now, one for John, real quick.
Yep.
Your friend, the fat man in Austin there, was reporting today, one county, I think it was New Jersey. I was busy when the story was going. I meant to have the state wrong, but one county, they raised property taxes 67%. All the property values are plunging. And another report was where the county had struck a deal with a bank for $50 million. The newspaper reported they didn't want to use taxpayer money. Of course, it was out of that CAFR account or whatever, but they're actually giving to police up to $90,000 to buy foreclosed homes. That's what Jones reported anyway today with it. So,
well, and, that's the question I had before. Here we busted them and had the state legislature throw up its hands and go, oh, wait a minute, I guess collecting your school taxes out of property tax is not legal. It's not constitutional. And the question I had at that time, you pay taxes to the city and the county for the home you live in. It's called property tax. And we're seeing across the board, 20, 40%, depending where you're at in the country. I guess you can buy a house now in Detroit for around $18,000. But they have figures on their books that are stating your property is worth X number of dollars. Now, we all know that these towns and these cities and these counties need cash to operate. So if my home has lost 20 to 40% in its value, why has not my entry on the tax rolls been decreased? In other words, what am I paying taxes on? So that is the next mess to come around. Because everything has to adjust out. As Bob said earlier, hey, we might have to reevaluate things here. And I think, Bob, you hit on something, because we have been talking about this before. That, you got $100 in the bank. Bank says, well, look, we got to make a little adjustment on your account, but don't worry. You'll have full faith and credit again in our system. We're going to take your $100, convert that to a brand new issued $10 bill. It may look the same. It might be even Parker Brothers money. We don't know, but don't worry, it's going to be safe and sound. What happens and how do the housing market is already readjusting and revaluing itself right now. So this is going to be the thing that is going to be on people's minds, because as they have less money to pay, if I'm in a $100,000 or $200,000 house and my tax bill, my property tax bill a year is $4,000 or $5,000, all of a sudden I'm now living in a $100,000 house. You still want me to pay $5,000? Excuse me.
Yeah.
My property is assessed supposedly on its value.
Yeah. And look, it's a big problem here in Phoenix. Medium home in the Phoenix area this time last year was $275,000. Currently, that same home is $135,000. But they are still being assessed property taxes at the median price of a year ago. Their argument is, it takes a while for us to readjust your property value, but we did it on the same way on the way up. as their excuse, but I don't know if that washes.
Well, and when do they adjust these seasonally?
Whenever they feel like
biannually, every century, every decade. When do they do this?
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, well,
it's a mystery.
Yeah, don't look for a tax credit anytime soon from your tax collectors. Keith, anything else?
Well, my feeling is that to cover the shortages for states and counties, they're going to have to raise property taxes and state sales and income taxes dramatically here. I think they want everybody homeless in the country. But last one was for Robbie, real quick. I heard Robbie a couple of weeks ago saying he was trying to read the book of Romans, and I think your comment was no man could understand the book of Romans. I just wanted to give you something. If you get a center column Zondervan King James Bible that has good references, in the first
I understand the book of Romans. It just surprises me how many of the clergy do not understand the book of Romans.
Oh, right. I was just going to say there's over 30 references in the first 2 chapters of Romans to the law and the prophets.
But obviously it all bases on chapter 13, that a lot of the clergy are telling their flock to ascribe to government dictates because it's biblical, which that's not what. And they obviously use Paul's letter, which, if you read Romans, obviously Paul wasn't talking about praising Caesar in any way, shape, or form. He was, as the reason why Caesar killed him, because he was talking about a higher power.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Keith, I think on your question here, look. Things are going to change dramatically here. Things are going to be reformatted, reformulated. You're going to be told that, don't worry, we're going to get through this thing. Look, bottom line here, and I think, Bob, you might be on board with this as well, Salente, Schiff, all the gurus out there saying that, look, this is insane what they're doing. And if you notice what's happening here, folks, when did our recession start? Well, sometime back in 2006. Okay, it started to happen, but it was very, very slow and incremental. But the rapid pace we're seeing of the deterioration of this economic situation here in this country, I mean, it took from 29 until what, Bob, 33 to really say, oh, I guess we're in a depression. We are on an accelerated rate. Because, folks, you need to look at this dispassionately, sit down and just do your own comparison here, 2008 versus 1929. And take a look at the liabilities, take a look at financially what shape we were in. We had the ability to work. We were firing up industry. Everything was humming along. And then all of a sudden the banks just had to put brakes on this thing. And that was to do one thing. Most importantly, that was to institute socialism and shift the form of government that we have. Okay? Number one. The whole, and I want you people to remember this whole drive behind the globalists, the New World Order crowd, is to have socialism worldwide. Communism doesn't pay off, and capitalism, well, that's just too expensive and too many people making money. When we want to control it, and we want to tax it. So keep those things in mind, folks. They're here for their second round, and they're here for their coup d'etat. Keith, thanks for your call. We'll be right back. Gentlemen, any parting shots, warnings across the bow, Titanic sinking, throw out the life jackets, get in the boats, what?
Not all the bad news about cutbacks in city budgets is all that bad, actually. Phoenix just announced it's laying off 200 IRS agents.
And, Bob, we've seen bankruptcy after bankruptcy take place. I didn't even get around to several bankruptcy stories, but, folks, they're going to be there. Don't worry.
Blockbuster.
They'll be going on next week and the week after and the month after. But what's looming on the horizon now? Oh, that's right, the commercial real estate market.
Yes, that's a big one.
Yeah, and that's in the future. And, of course, the jobs, hang on to sell your stocks, whatever you got to do by Friday, because the jobs reports comes out then. And
ADP report tomorrow.
It ain't going to be real good. At any rate, 800-691-7898. Take advantage. You know, actually, $999 in a short amount of time is going to look like a good price to a lot of people. So, folks, hey, we don't set the rules. We're just picking up the crumbs that are falling off the elitist table to make sure that we survive. And if you're only looking at gold as being a money maker, you need to start looking at it as well as an investment against all the stuff that's going on. The important point is you don't lose what you have. That's important because you're losing right now. The clock is ticking. Mr. Chapman, thank you so much, sir. We'll see you again next Tuesday.
Surely will.
All righty. Thank you much, Bob. And Robbie?
Yes, sir.
Quick bathroom break. Flip side coming up next.